Well, it might not have had the wild weather of Australia, but there were some strategic changes throughout the Chinese Grand Prix, with the hard tyres being harder than a lot of people expected, and it led to a lucky, maybe, 1-2 finish for McLaren because it ended up a bit more difficult than it needed to be. I've got Tim Cry here for GPblog to talk through everything from the paddock in the, well, many hours after the race is finished. It's not the result you saw on the television. Tim, let's start with McLaren. Norris ended the race with no brakes, but they got a 1-2 finish. How was it for McLaren and Piastri? Maybe thinking he might be the driver McLaren should back.
Yeah, very happy, of course, there at McLaren with a 1-2 for the team. Record for them in terms of the amount of 1-2s they've had now. Piastri, yeah, didn't put a foot wrong. From start to finish, he was solid. The strategic part of it was good today as well, calling the one pit stop race. So it was all good. A little bit same like Lewis on Saturday, where in front they could really manage those tires, and when someone came close, they could build up the gap again because they had tires left. And Lando, yeah, a little bit of a up and down race. He started quite well with a good start, passing George Russell, which seems like his opportunity to really push Oscar for the win. But then the strategy was a little bit less perfect, where he lost out on Russell for P2. He gained back again quite quickly, but then already the gap was 3 to 4 seconds to Oscar. He saved his tires, hoping to go for a final push at the end of the race.
Yeah, push on the brake pedal, yeah.
It seems like it because, yeah, he had a big margin to George. It was almost 7 seconds, almost 1.5 lap. The whole gap was closed down by George. Yeah, he all got there in the end on P2, but it was quite tricky for McLaren today.
Yeah, maybe they need to look into protecting the chasing pack by following Carlos Sainz's method of making the front wing end plate break off of the cars who chase with that weird moment with Yuki Tsunoda. I want to talk actually about the Racing Bulls. Some talk about Tsunoda maybe jumping up to Red Bull for the Japanese Grand Prix. Is this likely, and is it the right call for Red Bull to do?
If you thought you've seen it all with Red Bull and changing drivers, here we go again. Yeah, it's first of all, it's a very strange situation to be in. And yeah, at the end of 2024, it made sense with Checo's his future, but I think no one would have predicted to have these talks again after 2 races with Liam Lawson. But it would be a little bit, yeah, a shame for Liam, of course. Also because Japan will be the first track he knows, because he's already driven there. So it would be a good chance for him to perform there. But yeah, on the other side, 2 times P20 in a Red Bull, and also if you see the drive today, he is nowhere. There is no pace in that car. The confidence is down to 0. It's a very difficult situation for Red Bull, and I think the question is as well is what is happening over there, because it's not the first time this happens. And yeah, you now got to start asking some other questions as well. And is there enough confidence from management in helping those drivers? Because after Pierre, after Alex, and after Sergio, Liam is now the 4th one to crumble under that pressure.
Tim, what is the situation now? Is Max just out driving that car? Or if Max was to retire tomorrow and you've got Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda or Daniel Ricciardo or whoever, would the Red Bull actually be the 6th fastest car on the grid?
I think for a long time, people just assumed that the second driver was just horrible and that was the problem. But I think now more and more, with the 4th driver now not being able to catch up to Max, I think it also shows that Max maybe is even better than we thought, which makes that it looks like Red Bull is still there, but Red Bull doesn't really seem to be there. And Max himself said after the race that Liam would probably be racing better in a Racing Bull than in a Red Bull. So that's first of all already a very strange thing to say. But yeah, the options are open. Red Bull will talk about this, but yeah, behind scenes there is more talk about maybe putting Yuki in for Japan.
After the race, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly all disqualified from the race, which completely shook up the order for the midfield. What can you tell us? Where did it all go wrong?
Yeah, all miscalculations. That's what it all comes down to. We have 2 with Pierre and Charles who are underweight. So the car was 1 kilo too light than it should have been. Alpine is saying it was an honest mistake. Ferrari came down with a statement telling it was mainly down to the amount of graining they had on the tires. And with Lewis, it was kind of the same. There it was the plank under the floor of the car, something Hamilton has had before in America, of course, with him and Charles Leclerc being disqualified for the plank under the floor of the car. Now we had the same, and of that Ferrari said the same. It was just a miscalculation. They tried it, and this was too low, and that's something, with new cars, and especially with Ferrari, with a completely new front suspension, I think these are the problems that you can encounter in the first few races, because you don't know how your car will behave.
It's been a roller coaster start for Ferrari, for Red Bull, and for us fans. And we'll go to Japan next in 2 weeks' time. Suzuka is obviously one of the drivers' favourites, one of the fans' favourites. We look forward to that. Tim, I'll be speaking to you then to see what sort of twists and turns we're going through in this crazy Formula One 2025 season. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you everybody for watching.